Hello and welcome back to another Wisco Fanatics Wednesday. I am rolling solo today. Jake is getting in some family time, so I am riding solo talking about the Brewers today. Going to be going through the Brewers-Cubs finale from last Wednesday, talking about the Padres series, and then their first game with the Philadelphia Phillies. Before I start, I just want to toss out a few things that are coming up for Jake and I, for the show, and for just some of the stuff that we're doing. First things first, today, probably shortly after the show, there will be a new blog post for the Wisco Confidential blog that Jake, myself, and two of our friends, Simon and Bryant, are undertaking. We're just going to be putting out more content and just looking to kind of dig deeper on some of the stuff with our favorite teams. Simon and Bryant are going to help us focus on the Packers. So we're all looking at two players we're excited for, one on offense, one on defense. With that, on July 1st, we are going to do our first Friday night Packers show. So with the 2022 season, we are going to do Packers shows on Friday nights. Simon and Bryant are going to be a part of that with us as well. And then not this Friday, but the following Friday, Jake and I are doing our next bonus episode. We are doing bad sports commentators. It'll be an interesting one because the shock jock clickbait thing is one of the things that kind of led us into beginning this show in the first place, and we're just going to kind of highlight some of that stuff and basically call it out for being what it is, and that's basically human clickbait. But those are the things we got coming up. We got the blog post coming up today, Simon and Bryant joining us for our first Packers show on July 1st, and then Jake and I doing the bonus episode next Friday. So I'm going to jump in. I'm going to start with the Brewers-Cubs finale last Wednesday. That game concluded an 11-game road trip in 10 days. Yeah, Jake's obviously slacking. He could have done the show earlier. I offered to do it yesterday, but that's okay. Get some family time in. So the Brewers versus Kyle Hendricks. I feel like they either rock him or they super struggle every time they face Kyle Hendricks. And then Jason Alexander making his debut. So basically the first run that came was off of an Omar Narvaez error. And then, like I said last week, with Rowdy Tellez sending him to home plate, but by putting pressure on the defense, it can force them into some unforced errors. I should force them into unforced. Anyways, it can force the defense into some errors, and you put the pressure on the defense to have to make plays. The throw obviously trickled into the outfield, and the Cubs scored a run off of it. So Jason Alexander, not the Seinfeld famed actor, came into this game with a 63.3% ground ball rate, and that's what he did. He generated a ton of ground balls. I believe the number was 14. Top of the third, Jace Peterson had a triple, and Colton Wong singled him in. Alexander, after the initial inning, I think he gave up 3 walks in the first inning. He really settled in really nicely, finished with 7 innings pitched, 3 runs, only 2 of them earned. Did have 3 walks, so it was 2 walks in the first inning. I did have that written down. 97 pitches to get through 7 innings. That's very efficient, especially that's what a guy with ground ball outs can do. Colton Wong, bottom of the 8th inning, made a great diving play. Devin Williams made the pickoff attempt. After the challenge, it was overturned, and the Brewers won the challenge. Now, the thing that I wanted to address mostly with this game was I saw a lot of people complaining about why didn't Yelich try to make a throw into home plate on the last out of the game, or the last play of the game, I should say. Basically, Yelich was equal distance from the infield as he was from the outfield. And while Yelich does have a gold glove in his career, and I do think he actually still has a pretty good glove, he doesn't have the greatest arm. And it wasn't Rowdy Tellez at third base. It was Jason Hayward, who's got some pretty good speed. Yelich was ranging to his left. All those factors, even if Yelich gets a running start and a crow hop, he's probably still not throwing out Jason Hayward. Basically just cut the guy some slack. I get that he's making a lot of money, but, give credit to the Cubs for doing what they needed to do to get that win. So that game concluded 11 games in 10 days. a long road trip, and then getting into the Padres series. Adrian Hauser facing the Padres for the second time in 2 series. They just faced them in San Diego. His sinker was working really effectively. He actually mentioned that after the game. Brewers facing left-handed pitching has been an Achilles heel. I think that's going to be one of the things that David Stearns looks to address at the trade deadline, or even before then, because it's been such an issue, is hitting against left-handed pitching. They had 7 strikeouts in the first 4 innings. It's kind of weird seeing Keston Hiura starting in left field. That was a little bit different. And, the thing with Keston Hiura is the Brewers are in a really tough spot with him. I'm going to have an article actually coming out about Keston Hiura soon. It's his left-handed versus right-handed pitching splits are just insane. I tweeted it out yesterday that Keston Hiura had the same OPS versus right-handed batters as Aaron Judge. And then you look at his right-handed versus left-handed pitching splits, it's insane. He's batting, I think, 116 against lefties and batting 316 against righties. His splits are so skewed, and you usually don't see that from a right-handed batter against right-handed pitching, and then see him struggle so much against left-handed pitching. It's a really strange thing. Craig Counsell admitted it, that it's putting them in a tough spot to find fits for Keston Hiura. With Colton Wong potentially being injured, that might find him a spot at second base. It's not today, but it did yesterday. Today, Luis Urias is starting at second base. But speaking of Luis Urias, he got on base for his 27th consecutive game in Game 1 of that Padres series. Adrian Hauser, top of the 4th inning, gets the bases loaded, gets out of it with no runs. That's a big thing for Adrian Hauser to get out of that. Bases loaded in the bottom of the 5th for the Brewers. Andrew McCutchen gets an RBI fielder's choice, and then Luis Urias grounds into a double play. That happens. Bases loaded, nobody out, and you get 1 run. Basically, I'd rather, kind of weird to say it, but I'd rather have Luis Urias ground into a double play by making contact and putting the ball in play than to just go up there and just strike out. At least when you put the ball in play, it gives you a chance to move the base runners, gives you a chance for a fielder to make an error. When you're striking out, it just literally does nothing for you, unless there's a pass ball or something, but that's an extenuating circumstance. Then getting into, this is rough. Keston Hiura and Christian Yelich each struck out 3 times in this game. Kind of rough, but Brent Suter came in relief for Adrian Hauser. Gets the bases loaded with nobody out. The first batter that Brent Suter faces, really soft contact, drops in between the first baseman and the right fielder. And then Alfaro hit a really hard home run. Padres were up 5-1 going into the 9th inning of this one. After Peter Strzelecki made his debut, he got the bases loaded with 1 out, gave up 1 run. And then extra base Jace tied the game. Nobody out. Got the bases loaded. Jace Peterson hits a triple off the right center field wall. And then Andrew McCutchen, who had been 0 for 32, was due for a big hit. He'd been hitting the ball hard and just victim to some really good defense, and then he finally got the walk-off hit and came through with that. After the Keston Hiura got a single, Colton Wong got hit by a pitch. Victor Caratini got hit by a pitch, followed by the Jace Peterson triple and the Andrew McCutchen walk-off single. Then getting into the less fun. So basically got to talk about it. So starting with Game 2, kicks off the 4-game losing streak that the Brewers are currently on. Corbin Burnes versus Joe Musgrove is like a Cy Young head-to-head. Kind of one of the rare clunkers for Corbin Burnes. They're not going to happen often, but they are going to happen. Not every pitcher is perfect 100% of the time. Obviously, Josh Hader is a perfect example. I'm going to talk about him more later. Burnes got in trouble with 2 outs right away. Gave up a run in the first inning. Musgrove, like I said, he's been pitching really well. He might even be a front runner for Cy Young at this point. Got some friendly calls, I'll say, in the beginning of this game. And Luis Urias jammed his thumb on his first at-bat, and didn't return to the game, breaking his on-base streak at 27. Kind of a bummer, but is what it is. It wasn't going to last forever. Burns, his off-speed stuff still working really well. His cutter just wasn't quite there. Like Lauer last week, Burns has earned occasionally having a bad game. Like I said, Corbin Burns is not immune to having a bad game once in a while, and he's earned giving him some slack. Luke Barker made his debut, got a great strikeout. Christian Yelich, like I mentioned with the Cubs finale, that I do think he still has a really good glove, just not the best arm. But Luke Barker in his debut, 2 innings pitched, no runs, no hits, so it's good to see that. It's really good to see Trevor Kelly pitch an inning in a third scoreless. Colton Wong, double off the wall, broke the no-hitter in the bottom of the 8th. Colton Wong and Joe Musgrove tipped their caps to each other because, it's respect when you're playing great baseball, and it's respect when baseball is played against you. So Colton Wong knows Joe Musgrove's been mowing through the lineup, and Joe Musgrove knows Colton Wong just broke his no-hitter. So just respect there. But Corbin Burns, a rare off game, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. 6 of the 8 base runners that Corbin Burns allowed after 2 outs, 5 of them came to score. All 5 runs that Corbin Burns gave up were from base runners that were allowed after 2 outs. So that's just a finishing innings thing. That's something that I'm sure they looked at and learned from afterwards. But I give more credit to the Padres hitters than I give discredit to Corbin Burns. It's not like after this game that people should be like, oh, trade Corbin Burns. Corbin Burns sucks. Like, it's nothing like that. The Padres are a really good team. Taking 2 of 3 from the Padres in San Diego was a really good feat for the Brewers. It's just kind of unfortunate that it came back around in Milwaukee that the Padres ended up taking 3 of 4. Game 3 of that series, facing another left-handed pitcher. The Brewers had their left-handed pitcher, Aaron Ashby, going. Ashby struck out the first. He had 5 strikeouts in the first 2 innings. 2 hard hit balls by Colton Wong and Tyrone Taylor in the bottom of the first inning. Just hit hard right at fielders. There's not much you can do about that. Just like in the game 2, Brent Suter comes in and gets a super soft fly ball that ends up falling for a hit. It happens. I do got to say, though, if you don't and you are on Twitter, follow Pitching Ninja because it's really fun to watch just nasty pitches and stuff. Aaron Ashby had a pitch in this game that he threw to Voit, and it was like a 2-seam fastball that went like this and then went up and curved away from the right-handed batter. Just a nasty pitch. I should post it on the page is what I should do. Keston Hiura, 2 more strikeouts against left-handed pitching. He ended up with 4 total in the game. Kenzie Gore had 10 total. So the Brewers, like I said, putting the ball in play, like it's better than striking out. That's Jake and I talked about it last week that the Brewers got to bring the strikeouts down. And it seemed like Jake Cronenworth kind of had Aaron Ashby's number. 3 of the 4 runs that were driven in against Ashby came from Cronenworth. But outside of the home run and the 2 lefties hitting to the opposite field against Aaron Ashby, he did look pretty good. Using all of his pitches, he's got like a massive arsenal of pitches, Ashby does. He did give up 6 hits, 4 earned runs in 6 innings. He did have 9 strikeouts. Looking on the bright side of this one, Brady Tellez had 2 hits and a walk, and Trevor Gott, Miguel Sanchez, and Trevor Kelly all threw 1 scoreless inning pitched with 0 hits. And then Trevor Gott is the next one to go on the injured list. They're just racking up for the Brewers. I think I said it last week and the week before that it feels like the Brewers are just like one more injury and they're going to start having trouble competing. Thankfully, they got Hunter Renfroe back yesterday. Luis Urias is back in the lineup, and Willie Adames is activated today. So they're getting some reinforcements. Brandon Woodruff isn't eligible to be activated for another week yet. So I do think probably going to see one more Jason Alexander start, but I'm going to talk more about him later. Going into Game 4 of the Padres series, Eric Lauer, 2 strikeouts in the first inning. Colton Wong had a leadoff home run. Jace Peterson showing some vulnerability to some high fastballs. He's been striking out on a few of those. Next inning, makes a great diving play right in front of the Padres dugout and Manny Machado and everyone. Throws from his knees and gets the runner at first base. That might be the Wisco Fanatics play of the week next week. Top of the fifth, get a leadoff double and then some soft contact, and Cronenworth gets an RBI single. Dan, there's only one today. And then Jace Peterson makes another great defensive play, making a big jump to grab a line drive hit right over him. Colton Wong tied the game with the second home run of the day. And then that was the fifth multi-home run game of his career. Basically, it came down to top of the 10th inning. Trevor got beat by Cronenworth, and Cronenworth was the hot bat for at least the last two games of the series. Seeing it with Goldschmidt, it feels like every series there's one guy that just kind of has the Brewers' number. Hopefully, that's not a trend that develops, but it is what it is. Josh Hader, top of the ninth. Oh, hi from Greece again. Welcome back. Top of the ninth, Josh Hader tied the longest streak of scoreless appearances at 40. Just a bummer that he couldn't break the streak. He just had to tie it. Couldn't break it. But that being said, he does hold some records. I am going to talk about those, so I will get to that. Andrew McCutchen, it was good to see him. Like I said, it was good to see him break out. He needed that definitely in a big way. 3 for 5. Pablo Reyes had 2 hits in this game. And, the Brewers finished. What's up, Isaac? The Brewers finished 18 games in 17 days with injuries to Brandon Woodruff, Hunter Renfroe, Willie Adames, Luis Urias, Trevor Gott, Omar Narvaez on the COVID list, and having to call up a guy from AAA, or not AAA, Single A, the Timber Rattlers. Thankfully, they were close, so they were able to get an emergency catcher in. Let's see. I think that was it. Including 4 Major League debuts, which is Jason Alexander, Luke Barker, Peter Strzelecki, and Ethan Small during those 18 games. And to come out of that, including 11 of those games on the road, and to finish that stretch 9-9, I don't think you could ask for a lot more considering all of those circumstances, all of those injuries, 4 debuts. 11-game road trip to come out of that 9-9. I think the Brewers could have done a lot worse, and I'm sure even just saying that there's people that are like, oh, the Brewers only won 9 games. Whatever. The thing it is, and the fact of the matter is, people are always going to find something to complain about, even when the Brewers win, or even when the Packers win, or when the Bucks win, or whatever it is, whatever the situation is, people will find a reason to complain. Jake and I, we want to move away from that. As opposed to, finding reasons to complain, we want to find a reason to celebrate. Obviously we're not going to celebrate losses, but take the third game of that Padres series, for example. Ashby did give up 4 runs. His pitches themselves still looked good. The stuff that he's working looks good. Trevor Gott, Miguel Sanchez, and Trevor Kelly coming in and not giving up any runs, not giving up any hits. That is silver lining type stuff. That's the kind of stuff that Jake and I want to focus on. Not like, oh my God, the Brewers lost again. What are they going to do? The Cardinals are going to pass them in the standings, which the Cardinals lost last night too, so the Brewers are still a half game up. But yes, Isaac, exactly. Slumps happen in baseball. You can't win them all. It's just like what I said when it came to the Bucks in the playoffs. And if you say a team shoots 35% on threes on average, sometimes they're going to shoot 15, sometimes they're going to shoot 55. The Brewers are going to win, say, 95 games. They're going to lose 4 in a row sometimes. This is actually their first streak of 4 losses. They've only lost 3 in a row one other time before this. The Brewers are going to go on winning streaks at some point. What Jake and I would ask of you is that during the 4-game losing streak, We're not trading Yelich, trading Burns, trading Woodruff, trading this person, trading that person, firing Counsell, firing Stearns. Like, calm down. Now, on the flip side of that, if the Brewers rip off, say, a 10-game winning streak, we're not going to be like, Brewers are winning the World Series, locked and loaded, guarantee it, can't tell me otherwise. Like, when it comes to riding the roller coasters of the highs and lows, can't ride too high and you can't ride too low. I would encourage you, if you had to pick one or the other, I would say to ride too high, because riding too low, it doesn't benefit you in any way at all to just, focus so intently on the negatives of what is going on, especially for something as trivial as sports. And I get it, like, that's what we're doing here, but that negativity is just going to drag you down in everything. Even if you just focus on how it makes you feel about your favorite team, much less how it makes you feel as a person. It's just going to drag you down, drain your energy, and just take stuff away from you. Jake and I want to encourage you to put that positivity in, even during a negative result. Winning is not the only thing that brings fun into sports. Obviously, it's a lot more fun when you win, and that is the goal, is to win. But this is something I say to Packers fans, because it happens often, unfortunately, is losing in the playoffs. Like, we know the Packers have struggled in the playoffs. It's been 10 years since the Brewers, I keep saying Brewers, since the Packers won a Super Bowl. But are you going to sit back and tell me that you didn't have any fun during all of the regular season since then? The fun is in the journey as well, not just in the end result. If you put all of your eggs into the basket of the end result, then why even watch the regular season? Why have the ups and downs of the regular season? That is all part of the ride. That's exactly what Simon just said. 100%. The ride of the season is the fun part of watching sports. If you put all of your energy into, I'm only going to be happy if my team wins a championship, that's the only way I'm going to be happy, or I'm only going to be happy if they pick up the free agents, make all the trades, make the hirings or the firings that I want, that's the only way I'm going to be happy, and you're not going to have fun just actually watching the games, talking to people that enjoy watching the games as well, whether they be fans of the same team as you or fans of rival teams. Believe it or not, I'm friends with Vikings fans. I know some Vikings fans that I'm actually friends with. One of the guys that watches our show all the time, James, is a Saints fan. Brad said if everything smelled like roses in sports, we wouldn't have sports radio talk shows. We probably would, but they'd probably be a little more fluffy. We probably wouldn't have things like Undisputed and First Things First and all those sports debate shows, which I think people could probably do a little less without, because, like I said, I do believe people like Skip Bayless are just human clickbait, basically. But we'll get to that next Friday when we do our bad commentator bonus episode. But getting into the Phillies' first game of this, the first game of the Phillies series from last night, it is a bummer that it ended the way that it did. But first inning, Yelich reached on an infield single. Andrew McCutchen hit a double to bring him in, got to third base on the throw. Pablo Reyes, top of the first inning. This will probably be another candidate for the Wisco Fanatics play of the week next week. Ground ball, barehanded play, throw to first. Top of the second inning, Alexander worked around a one-out triple, got out with no runs in the inning. Colton Wong did end up leaving this inning with discomfort that he said stemmed from a hit by pitch back during the Cubs series. He said he'd been kind of playing through it because he knew some other guys were injured, like Mike Brasso, who was on the injured list. Colton Wong came in, or I should say Keston Hira came in for Colton Wong, and it got a little rocky, had a couple throwing errors, but didn't eventually end up hurting them. Luis Urias made a great diving play on the top of the third inning after a pair of sac flies brought in a run for the Phillies. Get to the bottom of the fourth, Christian Yelich gets another single, another double by Rowdy Tellez brings him in. Then it just became kind of a revolving door of relief pitchers. So Hobie Milner came in to pitch relief for Jason Alexander. I don't want to talk about Joe Alexander. That's a draft pick that did not work out well for the Bucks. Jason Alexander came in, 5 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 7 hits, 2 walks. Basically being a guy that gives up a lot of ground balls. Some of those are going to find holes. So seeing Jason Alexander give up 7 hits doesn't freak me out just because that's the nature of the way that he pitches. Colby Milner came in, pitched a scoreless 6th, only giving up 1 earned run over the last 9 appearances, over 8 1/3 innings. Unfortunately, the 1 run that he did give up led to a Padres win, but it is what it is. Brad Boxberger came in, pitched a scoreless 7th inning, a 1-2-3 inning. Devin Williams came in to pitch the 8th, a scoreless 1-2-3 8th. And then it's kind of a bummer too. So Hader finally gets cracked after setting all the records, which I have them pulled up. The 40 straight consecutive scoreless appearances, 38 scoreless innings, and 32 consecutive saves are all the longest active streaks in Major League Baseball. The 40 consecutive scoreless appearances tied a record by Ryan Presley. Ryan Presley was the record holder. He now tied that. Unfortunately, he didn't break that one. Hader is a power pitcher. He throws the ball hard. The ball is going to come off hard off the bat. That's what happened on the first home run. The second home run was just a slider that just got hit out. Hader said it after the game. I'm going to talk a little bit about what Josh Hader said. He said it after the game. Just got to tip your cap. The fastball that he threw, he said he mislocated. So that one was a mistake by Josh Hader. He admitted it. He knew it. Josh Hader's not perfect, just like anybody else. Get to the bottom of the 9th inning, get a leadoff walk, followed by 2 loud flyouts by Renfroe and Rowdy. Jace Peterson draws a 9-pitch at bat, draws another walk. And then Pablo Reyes got down 0-2 really quick and was called out on a check swing. Felt like kind of a cheap way to end the game, but it is what it is. Like I said, we knew Josh Hader wasn't perfect. Just sucks that his first hiccup came during a losing streak. And now the losing streak has continued, unfortunately, but the Brewers play tonight and have a chance to break it. I did like what I saw from Adam McCalvy, who tweeted out after the 3rd game of that Padres series. So I mentioned that Christian Yelich struck out 3 times in that game. And he addressed a lot of fans saying, why not move Christian Yelich down? Why not move Christian Yelich down? Me personally, I've been an advocate of moving him up because he still gets on base. And then, surprise, surprise, today Christian Yelich is leading off. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But Adam McCalvy's response to that was he's in the 85th percentile in barrel rate and the 96th percentile for hard hit percentage. That means he's in the top 4% of batters in Major League Baseball that hit the ball hard. And he's in the top 15% of barrel rate. That's mean just hitting the ball on the barrel of the bat. And the even more important question is, who do you put in that spot anyways besides Christian Yelich? Like, if you really want to put Jace Peterson batting 3rd instead of Christian Yelich, I can understand that Jace Peterson's having a pretty solid season after getting a slow start, but I mean, putting guys in different spots doesn't automatically equate to success. Or putting Christian Yelich at the bottom of the lineup, say batting him 7th with Victor Caratini and Lorenzo Cain behind him, you think he's going to see a lot of quality pitches? Probably not. He might draw some walks, but he does that in the 3-hole anyways. So moving Christian Yelich down just never really made sense to me. And like I said, if anything, move him up. And now tonight he's leading off, so we'll see what happens with that. So I did mention Keston Hiura. Colton Wong admitted his struggles against left-handed pitching. I just said Colton Wong. I meant Craig Counsell. Admitted Keston Hiura's struggling against left-handed pitching. It makes for some tough choices. Makes for a tougher fit, is what Craig Counsell actually said. What it ends up meaning for Keston Hiura, I don't know. I don't know how long the Brewers kind of wait for him to come around. He was so good when he came out as a rookie in 2019. 2020, I basically toss-out because I don't really consider that a season because they played 60 games. But and then last year, up and down, up and down. I did mention in the Brewers primer that his mom was dealing with cancer last season, so that that's a factor in people's mental health. But this season, it's still not where they'd like him to be. Even with the DH, like if his bat was good enough, like that's all you need is to have him DH. But then you got to put him in the field once in a while, and there's just no really great position to put him at because he struggles defensively. And he, like the Brewers as a team, struggles so mightily against left-handed pitching. Like Craig Counsell said, it puts him in a tough spot to try to find a fit for him. So it is. We'll see what happens with Keston Hiura. Basically, just gonna have to wait and see. Going into tonight's game, it is Luis Urias starting at second base. Willie Adames is back at shortstop. Jace Peterson is playing third base, so that'll be interesting to see if Keston Hiura is kept out of the lineup. I'm not sure. I didn't look when Mike Brasso was eligible to be activated off the injured list. But going into my power pair from last week, it is kind of tough after a 4-game losing streak to find a power pair. That being said, I want to give the new guy, Jason Alexander, some love in the power pair section. He pitched last night and he pitched in the Cubs finale. 12 total innings, gave up 3 earned runs. He's the first Brewer to debut with a quality start since Brandon Woodruff. His debut, 7 innings pitched, only 2 earned runs. I want to toss this out there now just as a possible prediction. He's going to make one more start, probably on Monday against Washington. When Brandon Woodruff comes back, maybe the Brewers go with a 6-man rotation, keep Jason Alexander in there, or they go to a 5-man rotation. When Freddie Peralta comes back, maybe having Jason Alexander in the bullpen as a long relief pitcher. And especially with as many ground balls as he gets, if you get into a situation where you need a double play, you bring Jason Alexander in, you feel pretty good about your chances to get a ground ball and get out of an inning. So I like the idea of potentially holding on to Jason Alexander as a bullpen piece, as a guy who can give you, say, 3 to 4 innings if need be. If a guy has, a high pitch count or just starts off a game rough, or God forbid there's another injury and you need somebody to give you 3, 4, 5 innings out of the bullpen, Jason Alexander could be that guy. Or if you get into a really tough spot where you need a ground ball, Jason Alexander could be that guy too. So I kind of like the idea of keeping him around even when the pitchers start to get healthy. For position players, I went with Andrew McCutchen. I wanted to give him some love after breaking out of his really long slump. He said he was going to get through it. He tweeted it out. He said, "Get through me or stick with me. I'm going to get through it." And people did. People supported McCutchen. Then he had the walk-off hit. Then he had the 3-for-5 game. In the last week, he's batting 6 for 20. That's a 300 batting average. And he's been hitting the ball hard. He just had some hits taken away by some really good defense. So I wanted to give Andrew McCutchen some credit for that. Looking at what's next for the Brewers, I did mention already that Willie Adames is activated. Christian Yelich is leading off tonight. Luis Urias is batting cleanup. So I know it's interesting to see Luis Urias batting cleanup. The Brewers have 2 more games with the Phillies. They have tonight and they have tomorrow afternoon. Adrian Hauser is pitching tonight. Corbin Burns is pitching tomorrow. And then they start a 3-game road trip at Washington and then 3 games at the New York Mets. And then after that, I think they're at Cincinnati, but we'll talk about that more next week. For Friday, it's going to be Aaron Ashby. Saturday is going to be Eric Lauer. And then I do think it's going to be Jason Alexander to pitch on Monday. Alexander on Sunday. I messed that up. Okay, so looking at after that, what I wanted to talk about with Josh Hader. So, like I said, you knew he wasn't going to be perfect forever. Nobody's perfect forever. Josh Hader went a long time without giving up any runs, without giving up any scoring. The 40 appearances scoreless, the 38 consecutive scoreless innings, the 28 consecutive saves. Just that much. I mean, dominance. Really, there's really no other word for it. It wasn't going to last forever. He wasn't going to go the rest of his career without giving up a run. But listening to Josh Hader talk about after the game, he broke it down basically to just trying to win games inning by inning. Just trying to win game inning by inning. And, when it comes down to it, calm down, move forward. And that's the way that baseball needs to be approached. More than any other sport, in my opinion. Baseball needs to be approached as you look at it. Josh Hader said he'll focus on it today, and then tomorrow is a new day. So baseball, more than any other sport, needs to have that mindset of today is today, tomorrow's tomorrow. What happened yesterday does not matter. Because they have a next game the next day. It's not like football where you have another week until you play again. Baseball, there's games every single day. So baseball, more than anything else, has to be a game of moving forward. So the reflection is whether you win or lose, it needs to be over quickly for the players. We as fans should do the same. If the Brewers lost yesterday, they play again today. They could win today. They didn't win yesterday, but yesterday's over, so they could win today. Now, what I wanted to say with this is we can take something away from this, the way that Josh Hader talks about it. So you might have had a bad day today, but tomorrow's a new day. It's a really cliche thing to say that tomorrow's a new day. I know, I understand. But breaking it down, as a sports metaphor, as inning by inning, if you say, I'm going to take today hour by hour. If you know you're going to have a long day, just take it 1 hour at a time. If you can't take it an hour at a time, take it a minute at a time. And just keep moving forward like that. Josh Hader said it. Just keep moving forward. Just win the next inning. Win your next hour. And just keep moving forward that way. So I liked hearing Josh Hader talk like that because I felt like I could take something away from that. So sports and life meeting together, whether it's a win or a loss, just keep moving forward. That's all any of us can do. Jake will be back with me next week, and it'll probably end up being a longer show because then I'll have Jake talking. But like I said, we have more things coming up soon. Today, the Wisco Confidential article about players that we are excited for, that'll be coming out today. And then we are going to be doing our first Friday Night Packer episode on July 1st. And next Friday night, we will be doing a bonus episode, Jake and I, on Bad Sports Commentators. So we will have that coming up next week. I think that's it. I mean, losing streaks happen. They're going to happen. Don't freak out. The Brewers are still 9 games over 500. They're still leading the division by a half a game. Nobody's going 162-0. Don't ride the roller coaster too low. We'll see you next week.